everyone. Welcome to All About the Joy. I'm so sorry we're a few minutes late, but we're having some technical difficulty. Hi, Melanie. See?
We're here.
Tony was totally messing with me because my friend Hi is trying to come on and he's having some technical difficulties. And Tony's like, just wait. He's trying to, and I'm like, no, we have people who are waiting.
No.
Hi, Melanie. Yeah, you can't do that. Rick is on his way too. He's just having some issues right now and he will be on soon. I'm so sorry, Melanie. But Tony and I will keep discussing what we were just. Can I tell you something that they did with Restream? This is new, and I use it at least once a week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now when you see somebody coming on, their picture is a circle on the right hand side. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's like I can see me and you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very weird, but then you also have the little camera in front of you showing you who's on, and then us. It's too much. Maybe I can get rid of this.
Yeah, this is behind the scenes work that you're doing. And the best
sorry.
part about this is being able to be behind the scenes while you're doing it. You're doing it all at once by yourself. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hi.
Got my camera to work.
Okay, but now you're super loud.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. It's so nice to see you.
It's great seeing you. Let me change my audio here.
It's okay. We'll figure it out on this end. I can see if I can turn you down a little bit here, but it never seems to do anything. Do you want to say a few words right now?
Hello.
No, that's fine. I just knocked you down by half.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, turn the volume down a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't know it actually worked on here. That's funny. How are you? Hi, we're waiting. Well, I don't know if Jimmy's going to show up, but Rick will show up. Jimmy might. Jimmy's last name is Maslov, I think is how you pronounce it.
Okay.
I don't know what he did back then, but I know he then became a cinematographer, and he's directing, and he does it. But I assume you all know each other. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tony. You've never met Hi, this is Tony. I'm so sorry.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Usually we have Rick here who would do those introductions, or at least remind me and send me a little note. I don't think they know each other. You know what I mean? He'll be up soon. But I always assume that everyone that works at Brand New School all know each other. So Tony, me, and Hi know each other from back in the day.
Right.
In 2000, right? 2001, like a long time ago. And he used to work for the same company I did. And what did you do again? Because I don't care. I just know how much we paid you. That's all I care.
I did 3D animation at the time. I think around the 2003 or 4 is when I started there.
What's up, Rick?
Hey, Rick.
Hey, what's up, guys?
You guys know each other, though.
Yes.
We have met.
Yes.
We have met. Let me just, Rick, say something. Let me knock you down a bit.
Am I too loud?
No, you're good. I just knocked you down here. So Restream did another change. I don't know why.
Yeah, I saw that today.
Oh, you saw it today with the circles?
Yeah, I was like, what is that? Why do I see myself over there?
Why do I
What's
need
going
to
on?
see it 5 times? I know we're just talking about behind the scenes stuff. So,
Yeah.
So, Hi, I just wanted to find out how you were doing because it's been a minute since you've been in the hood with us.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. When was the last time we talked? What was that, last year?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it last year or earlier this year?
No, it was last year. He's right.
It was last
year. Because he was right at the beginning when we were starting. Because we've been on now like a year.
Yeah.
A year and a few months now. A couple months, I think.
Wait,
whose noise is that?
I hear that too.
No.
Is it Hi or is it
Is it
Tony?
me?
I'm gonna mute myself.
I'm going to mute myself. Okay, it's not you, Rick.
Yeah, it's not me.
Oh, wait. Who is it?
Hi.
Was it you, Tony?
Yeah, that's Hi.
Oh.
Is it Hi?
Yeah. I haven't muted my mic at all yet.
It's him.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it like a buzzing noise?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like a chirping.
It's almost like it's interesting. But that's going to be bad for the audio. Why is it all my people who work in the film business, like, well, whatever, are the ones who suck at this the most?
Let's see. Audio input.
But yeah, that's going to be, I don't even know how I'd be able to lessen that.
Does help? No.
That's worse.
Worse?
Yeah, because I can hear now static.
Oh, now I hear static. The noise went, but now it's air.
Now it's right. Hi, Melanie.
Oh,
She's
now
like,
it's
it's
back.
not me.
It's back?
Nope.
Still here.
So what are you using on your like are you plugged into a mic or something?
I believe the camera has a mic that's picking up the audio.
Hmm.
But then I have my headset to hear.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
I don't know what to do because I mean we can have the conversation. Where did Rick go? There he
I'm
is.
out of here.
No, you don't need to leave. I don't know. You just jumped off, Rick. I
I
thought
don't know
you
what
did.
happened. I don't
Okay,
know
now
what
it's stopped.
happened. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Nope.
Oh, now it's
And
back.
now it's back.
I live
I
with
love
it.
this.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's
I don't.
really
The funny thing is, I don't hear it on my end.
It's all good.
Interesting.
I mean, we can just chit chat. I just won't put it on the audio. I just won't put it on the podcast because I can't edit. I don't know who could edit that out. Certainly not me. Why is Tony? Why are you laughing? Why are you being so mean?
Ask
Let
Chris
me
if
log
he can
off
listen.
and log back on and see if it works.
You're gonna
Yeah,
log off and log
ask
back on. Okay.
Yeah.
Chris if he can listen. Yours blows my mind. I understand though. I understand. I'll be rolling with the
You know what?
fence.
Well, because you're doing a different thing than I am. I love Hi. I just have to think it through. He'll come back on. Oh my God, it's also bothering my ears so much. But
Do you miss it?
no, but you know what? I mean, Tony, like we're trying to be professional as possible. So I just got I want him on. We can have a conversation, but I just won't use this on the podcast. And that's
you
okay
can't.
because I'm behind by 2 weeks now. So I have it. That's why I'm doing it this way. So I do have backup and also I have time to edit. I don't have to edit everything tonight so that I can post on Sunday because it takes me a long time. Yeah. I'm not just doing a live stream and walking away.
I know.
I don't even know what would cause that noise. I have no clue. That's so weird.
No, because it's on his end. So it would, I'm sure, the professional editors could hook that shit up. You know what I mean? But not me. But I don't want him not to come on.
Maybe Cynthia needs to send him a mic. Just kidding.
Ah.
Oh, Tony got jealous. Sorry, Tony. I didn't mean that.
But you know what, Tony? What was so funny is that, oh, yeah. No,
He's back.
Same thing.
you know what?
That's
okay.
all right.
I think it's funny that he doesn't hear it.
No, yeah, that's weird.
That's all right.
It's all right. It's okay. It's fine. I have
I'm a
backup.
turkey. I
for
can just
podcast.
background noise. I'm good.
Yeah, pretend you're on a starship, and that's the noises of the thing.
You guys are so silly. You think I am thinking about the podcast. I can't record this on the podcast because I don't have the editing skills.
We're now entering the viewing system.
I didn't hear what you just said. How come when everyone comes on, you don't talk as loud as you were before? What did you say?
No, I'm still talking the same way.
Ooh.
Okay,
You can't hear me
but now you're getting louder. Hi, I love you. That's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, I see the.
Oh, what is it? You see it?
I see the decibels on my camera.
And you don't have that. You don't have another mic
when you were on.
There's no other mic you have that you can use, or no?
Yeah, let me double check here. I can check and see. I'll be back.
You're leaving again?
Yeah, to connect the other mic and see if it works.
Okay, cool.
Right.
I'll be back.
Come back though. Okay. It got louder, right? Did it get louder? That was so funny. It got louder.
Captain's log. The beeping got louder and drove us crazy.
We got closer to the meter drone system. We noticed some interference we could not understand.
Tony, okay, wait. Rick, did you hear what he just mumbled?
It was something Star Trek-y it sounded like.
You were fine when it was just me and you talking, and then all of a sudden you're like,
I just turned my microphone up for you. Is that enough?
I just need you need to project as you were before when we were, you know what it is? Camera comes on and like smooth, groovy Tony comes on or something. I think that's what happens. Like you were talking to me. What?
You know what's cool that Restream did? Restream did something really cool. Before I came on, I could see you guys already. Like I could see you in the video, even though I wasn't on yet. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So I could see who's here already. Because
Oh, so I
normally,
should be careful not picking my nose or something when we're in the
yeah,
green
I couldn't
room,
hear
or
you, but I could see you. Yeah, don't pick your nose.
so where you could see. I would never do that. Well, I could never. So you could see us like talking and gesturing.
Yeah, I
And,
could see you. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. I could see. I saw that. I was like, oh, cool. Hi's already here. Yay.
but can anyone log on then from there? Like
Well,
if they find the. Do you know what I
whoever's
mean? Like
coming
if
on as
they
a
find it.
guest. Oh,
Oh,
talk. Say something.
Hello.
Yes.
yay! Woo!
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna get back to Hi. So for people who don't know Hi, what is with Tony?
Tony's cracking up.
Why is Tony cracking up?
She was like, yes, there's a God.
Hey, you know what the problem is here is you do not appreciate the art of editing. And I am a newbie. I'm not even anywhere near what real editors do. But for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
past year, I have been doing this. And my allegiance and love of and respect for editors has like tripled because just doing this podcast, it like takes me to do 1 hour of our recording. It takes me like 4 hours. So I'm just saying. Okay, lay off.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, Hi. Thanks for the headphones. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Oh my God. Okay, Hi. What have you been doing for the past year? I miss you.
Miss you too. Miss you guys. Let's see. I think the last time we talked was around the same time. I think maybe June or May of last year. I believe it was about a year.
Yeah.
I think a lot has changed since then. You know, the last time we talked, we talked a little bit about AI, right?
Yeah.
That was a big thing that popped up. And then for me personally, I was doing, still animating, but also getting into multifamilies, properties.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
I'm
he got a good memory.
Yeah, so I'm still doing that, doing the multifamily. But last year around October, I left the company that I was at for a long time. I was there for almost 11 years. I think
Oh,
I left in
wow.
October, and November would have been my 11th year. So
Hmm.
I left that company, and I started freelancing again. So
You did.
yeah, I started freelancing again. Just getting away from like full time to doing freelance. Freaked out my wife a little bit. I'm used to it,
bet.
but but she's not used to it. It's definitely different in Houston compared to LA.
Mhm.
But I did continue to freelance and then just look for full-time work, whatnot. But then also do the multifamily stuff.
How's that going? The multifamily.
It's
What-
good. It's good. It's the environment for the multifamily for like apartment complexes and stuff there is great. The
Mhm.
commercial side is the one that has like been hit a little bit harder because of what happened to COVID.
Right.
Like everybody's been working
Yeah.
at home and no one really want to go into the office. So big companies can, they have the money, but like smaller companies, that do rent like middle size or small size buildings, they're really not renewing their leases, right? So those people who are holding those commercial buildings are not making money.
Mhm.
That's the only downfall for that. But other than that, that's pretty much. Good and bad thing about me leaving the company, I have more time to spend with my kids. So
Oh, that's awesome.
dropping them off at school, picking them up,
Yes.
to see them.
Yes.
It's been great. So they're in summer school now. They have a week left, and then they'll be out until August. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's been fun hanging out with
You
them.
actually just broke down one of the things I emphasize about the benefits of telework, being able to be there for as a family man.
Yeah,
I actually thank you for actually acknowledging it and it working for you in one aspect. That's one of the biggest pushes I've always been as far as supporting telework, and families
yeah,
can benefit from it so much.
exactly.
It does matter. And as a father, you acknowledging that you enjoy it and it helps and it actually keeps everybody close. It helps the moms out as well. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Big ups for that. Big ups for that. For real.
Thank you. Yeah, and yeah, I've been enjoying it, and they love it too. They're
Oh,
like,
of course.
yeah, they're like, well, we hope you get a job soon, Dad. But let's go to the park. Let's go swimming.
But see, they have the right perspective,
Yeah.
right? Like they're just so innocent about the whole thing. They're like, "Yeah, great. Yeah, we pray for you, Dad, but let's go play."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love that. How old are they?
6, and then one's about to be 5, so they're like a year and a half
Oh, yeah.
apart. Yeah.
That's a great age.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He ain't getting no sleep.
Yeah, no sleep.
So are
Barely.
you feeling more comfortable, or I should say, you and your wife, are you feeling more comfortable about the decision you made? Even though, I'm an independent contractor too, and it has its ebbs and flows. I mean,
Yep.
you have right now, everyone knows I'm completely overloaded because I have too many clients. But
Yeah.
then there'll be there'll be months where I'll have one
Yeah.
client, and and I'm like pasting together, what
Yep.
I mean, with my savings or whatever, because it just ebbs and flows. And right now, the industry, at least here in LA, the Hollywood industry in general, is really having a tough time
Yeah.
work wise because of the strikes and just the changing of Hollywood as an industry and how we watch movies. You know this. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys all know what's happening. So there's a lot of issues with work here. And I know right now I'm doing well. And I'm grateful for it, but I know like it could be 4 months. I'm gauging because I know how this goes. I've been doing it since I left brand new school in 2000. When did I leave? I don't even know. 2008 or 9 something. And I've been doing this same job, independent, doing all these different freelance type of things. And I know I can feel it. So I know 4 months from now, I'm going to probably be online every day doing all about the joy. I'm going to be like home all day. So, but how are you guys handling it?
Like you said, just there's the ups and downs, and we just take it one day at a time. Like I said, we spend a lot of time, hanging out with the kiddos and stuff like that, and try to fill the time with that, and then and just go with it, And then of course, like you, I pick up tons of clients, and some of them are work out, some of them don't. So that's just the way it is.
Yeah, the ones who don't tend to not have money. Those are the
Yeah.
ones that usually don't work out, right? They're like,
Pretty much.
they're like, look, I know that your rate is $200 an hour, but
Yeah.
how about if you do it for like 25? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, although if I'm desperate enough, I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. Like I'll do it. Like if the rent's due
Right.
and I'm out and it's been 4 months, I'm like willing to negotiate.
Yeah. I don't mind.
Hey, Tony.
Tony Smith, hi.
Hi, Tony.
How are you?
What's good,
I'm
bro?
sorry. He's always posting pictures and always liking my stuff, but I haven't seen him from Haps in a long time. You guys don't know who that is, do you?
Yeah, I
No.
do. I know
Yeah,
exactly who it
it's
is.
Tony.
remember.
It's the better Tony.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Wow.
Go ahead, hi. I apologize. I had to mess
No
with
worries.
Tony.
No worries. Tony.
That's a good group.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, just freelancing, and then trying to just educate my wife and see, let her know how it goes with just freelancing. But other than that,
Wait,
everything's
she
great.
doesn't know? She knows. You were at brand new school as a freelancer, weren't you?
I was, but I didn't meet her until after I moved
Oh,
back.
till after.
To
Yeah.
after. So she
That's
doesn't.
right.
She's always been corporate. So
Wait, is she working full time?
yeah, full time. But she gets to work from home.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're also, that's a nice family thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tony and Rick, have you guys ever done freelance? You must have at some point, right?
No.
Like no.
no, not really.
Would you ever be interested?
Maybe.
Economically, I couldn't afford it. Probably. I know when I've tried to do entrepreneurial businesses or try to work any of the multi-level schemes when you were your own boss, it costs a lot just to get started. Then you also have to maintain your clientele. I've tried it 3 times and it didn't work for me. That's why I keep a job and just stay there. I've actually been out there and I understand what people have to go through just to start their own business to get it up and going. You have to maintain clientele was the biggest thing I always remembered. You have to be reliable, dependable, 24/7 any given moment for any and everything. And that's a lot of pressure if you can't afford it. Not that people won't do it. It's about being able to afford and be there and deliver. And the times that I did it when I thought I could and I saw how much it was going to take, people will pay you for your time, but you'll never profit. You'll be compensated for your efforts. And then after a while, they'll move on because you're not producing. So what I did learn from that was just, if this doesn't work, get a job and just stay there. And that's one of the reasons why I just maintain my work. And even when I was working, I would check something out here or there, try it out, because I'm always getting offers. I've known plenty of Amway folks. I knew Victor Marketing folks. I've tried the things that are online, like FireFan and things like that. I've done quite a few things, but they didn't work, and having a job and then maintaining the career
I'm sorry.
worked out for me economically. Just being honest.
Yeah. No, I think it's also very industry specific as well. I think you were trying in the work that you do, right? Or you were like being a consultant or something, or
No, it was like I said, like Amway. I got brought into
oh
Amway. I
yeah,
had
those
people-
types of things.
and
Okay,
listen, those people were supportive. They really
right,
were, but you still have to produce yourself. They're
right.
only going to
Well,
advise
that's
you.
because you're also selling a product that belongs to a company. So what I'm not speaking for high, but people in our industry that tend to uh, do creative stuff, right? Like,
Mhm.
so he's talented in a very specific niche. Niche? Is that how you say it? Niche.
Yeah.
And
I
so
believe
he's going to be hired by, big time companies to come in and work. And they'll I mean, Brandon School wasn't big at all. It still isn't, but we were a boutique agency and we needed his services, so we would go after him because he was so talented in what he did, and it was a creative thing.
Mhm.
I mean, hi, you were a freelancer, but you were there all the time,
Yeah, they call it perma-lance, pretty
right? We
much.
called it
Permanent.
perma-lance, right?
permalance. I like
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah,
that.
perma-lance. I mean,
I like that.
there was never a reason why he would not work with us,
Right.
because you know what I mean. So I think what you're talking about is you're selling other people's product. It's not
You're
your
selling your
talent.
own,
That's
yes. And I'll go with the broadcasting I do. That might be the most freelance that I've ever done based on what you're asking.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I still think if you did your show consistently and okay, we're not gonna talk about it. I'm just saying, because you got the personality. No, you got the personality, you got the smile. You're so good interviewing people, except when you let their boobies come out. I don't know what the hell.
Oh,
I
Lord.
know.
All right,
Hey,
I'll tell you about that later.
I
I'll
did
tell
a
you about
lot
that
before that. There
We'll
was a lot
explain
of
later.
content around that, for God's sake.
later.
Did you get
He
an uptick in
interviewed-
subscribers after that happened?
He got a lot more subscribers.
Yeah, a lot of people watch that video.
Check my
But
YouTube
I'm
page.
just saying. See, I think on that you
I'm
would
gonna
be
check.
brilliant, but yeah, I'm not gonna mess with you. I'm not gonna
No, I
mess with
appreciate
you.
it. I appreciate it.
Okay.
You are going to mess with me, though.
No, I'm just saying. I think you would anyway. We've already talked about it a million times. So, but you're absolutely right. If you did freelance or whatever, you started your own business and did something that is something you love like this, and you're so good
Yes.
at it, that would be the way I think that you would probably thrive as an entrepreneur.
I think, and personally, when I was trying to do it, I was telling people if I was a retired, this would be what I would want to do. And
Yeah.
that's why I was putting so
Right.
much into it. And like I said, it's about maintaining. And like I
Right.
said, I'm putting more into it than I'm getting out of it, honestly. But I do enjoy it. So it doesn't bother me
But
that
that's
much.
what you do at the beginning when you're freelancing. I mean, like you said earlier, you have to buy a lot of equipment, have your stuff, whatever. You put a lot into your own business, hoping that the return will be not just to balance you out and even you out, but that would be great at this point for me.
At this point,
That
you're
you
right. It
get a
would.
profit. You know what I mean? But you see what I'm saying, right? Like
Yes.
that's what you do. Yeah. And Rick, you think eventually you'd ever want to try to freelance, or
I've always worked for the man, so
you know what
I
I'm
don't
going to do? Hold on one second. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I have to go tell my neighbors to get away from my front door. I'll be right back. I just do. They're so loud.
We don't even hear them.
Yeah, I don't hear them.
That's so funny.
I'm kicking. This is hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Freelance in this industry is a little bit different. I agree, but as I get older, when I started with Carmen, it was like she said, 2001, 2003, I think. So it's been like 20 years, right? So
Mm.
what happens after 20 years is there's 20 years worth of graduate artists come out of school. That's 20
Mhm.
years of kids coming out every year, right? So, I get older, but then the industry in general is all about being less expensive and fast, right?
Mhm.
So, and
Yes.
every year we're talking about technology, AI, everything's getting easier and faster.
Yeah. You gotta be up
So
to date.
yeah, you have to be up to date. So um, it is a challenge as I get older, and Carmen might talk about it too. As you get older, you have more people to go up against, other freelancers to take your time because what I learned when I first graduated, there's three things that a company look for, right? And if you can do two out of the three, so one is being less expensive, right? Cheap, fast, and talented, really good. right? So if you're 2 out of those 3, you're going to get hired. So when you get out of school, right, you're cheap and you're fast, right?
Yes.
And you won't get any talent unless you have experience. So you're going to be experienced and then you're fast. And that's what they're paying for, right? You can't be cheap. Of course, as you get older, you're like, your time is money. So
Yeah.
you don't want to, if they're going to charge you $25, you might as well work somewhere that pays $25 and not have to do this work, so.
Exactly.
So creatively, that's how that works out. And my wife was like, "Why don't you just, drive Uber?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down to drive Uber." But I did the math. I'm like, "Okay, so I gotta drive my car, pay gas, do all this stuff to my car, and then of course some days you make money, some days you don't. But then the average comes out to be like $15-20 an hour.
Right.
I'd rather do art at home and not get out in the sun and might mess up my car and put miles on my car. So the math didn't work out for me. So I was like, I'd rather just find clients and work from home.
Yeah,
So,
my friend tried that, and he said in the end it wasn't worth it. He tried it for like maybe a year, and he's like, it's not worth it. The gas, the repair of the car, and just it's not worth it in the end.
Yeah, vehicle maintenance is a big
vehicle
thing. Yes.
So
Yeah, I missed what you guys were saying, but I'll just tell you that I couldn't even tell my neighbors because it was a bunch of older ladies, like 5 of them.
The Golden Girls?
I swear to God. I was like, you know what? Hi. I just opened the door. I'm like, I felt so stupid. So it was all good. They walked away though. They were just all talking to my next door neighbor. But it was just weird. It was like the Golden Girls. Although the Golden Girls were my age when they were doing that show. So I don't know. Yeah. So it's kind of scary. But you were saying something that I kind of missed, Hi, and I just want to chime in about it. Something about as you get older, it gets more competitive. Is that what you were saying? Yeah, it's true.
Because I told him that I met you in like 2003, 2004. It's been 20 years, and every year art school spits out a graduating class. That's 20 years of graduating class, right? And in California, there's Art Center, there's Otis, there's Cal Arts. That's 3 schools that's pumping out kids out of school, telling them that you're going to find a job. But realistically, Hollywood is pretty tiny, right? And if you go, you spread out, you go to Canada, Australia, but it's still an entertainment industry is, it's kind of small.
You know what? You keep hitting your mic or something, so it keeps cutting you out.
Sorry.
Did he lose it again?
Listen, I love my babies in this industry. Let me just tell you, because not one of them have come on the show without technical drama. I still mess with Joel about it. You know Joel Lava, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still messing with him about that.
Even Charlie, all of a sudden the screen went black. Where'd you go?
I know, but here's the thing about Charlie. He's a screenwriter and an actor. I expect that. But you know what? I think too, and here's the other part, and I don't know if this just is a woman thing, but as I got older, I never was increasing my rate because I was so afraid that people wouldn't pay it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I would like, how long can you go, making $50, $60, $75 an hour when you're like, you have 30 years experience, right? And you do also, now you're doing it fast. I love what you were talking about, Hi, where you were like, when you're young, you're new, but you're fast. And I like what you said, because it's so true. But I have all this experience, and the idea that I would walk in and get like $25 an hour to do this, reorganizing your entire team or your entire situation is it's just unrealistic. And there's no way somebody graduating out of college is going to be able to come in and they don't have the experience. So it's an interesting conversation. I did not know we were going to go here, but you're doing good. And are you happier now though?
No. Yeah. I'm way happier now for sure. I'm leaving that company, and I was there for 11 years and I made tons of friends, so it just didn't work out, and I just had to leave. So
yeah. Was it worse than brand new school? Or but Tony's laughing because he knows. Tony, why are you on the show? Leave.
You asked me.
Today's your day. So Hi, we're laughing at you because your mic is still making so much noise, but it's not the other noise.
Listen, you didn't see your face. That might be said.
Okay, here's what's going to happen. We are going to, like, what is it? Visualize that I'm going to hire an editor. And then none of this I will give a shit about. You know
Watch
what I mean?
the replay between 29 and 30 minutes. Just watch your face. That's what you said.
Because I don't want to interrupt him.
It's so crazy because I can't hear anything. That's
No. It's all good.
All right,
It's almost
trust
like
me,
you
watch
have a
the
lav
replay.
mic
You
on
are
and
going
you're
to
hitting it.
crack up. Watch the
it's
replay.
static.
Her face it.
Is it static or is
It's
it
like
that?
static or something. That's what it sounds like. But I don't know. I don't see you hitting anything though. That's why it's confusing me.
But it does sound like it's a lav mic. You know when you have a lav mic? Do you guys know what a lav
Yeah,
mic
but
is?
he's using the one like this.
I know,
That's
but
all.
it sounds like, because I always do that whenever I have a lav mic on and I'm talking, I'll like hit the wire or whatever, you know what I mean? I'll move my neck and it'll make that noise and I'll get yelled at by the sound people.
That's how you
I'll be like, retake. You know what I mean? Like, what?
That's how you move your neck. I heard the static. I heard a couple times say, "Here it
I
comes.
know.
Here it comes." I'm just sitting there in your face.
Well, okay,
There
so
it
I'm going
is.
to admit something because you're so mean. I'm going to admit something. I am also, I'm easily distracted. And so I'm concentrating on him, but I'm hearing all this other, like the ladies. You couldn't hear them, but they were
Thank you.
Fuck,
for
I'm high
being
maintenance, all right? I'm high maintenance. I want perfection. I want it to be easy and perfect. Why is that so hard? You guys are mean. High knows me as a nice person. I was nice, right?
See, look at you.
Was
Well,
I?
I wouldn't have come back if you were nice.
Good answer. Good
Okay.
answer.
See, thank you, my babies. Yeah, no, it was a good time there. But I'm just glad that you're happy. I think the stress of not having enough money, though, I'm not saying that for you. I think for
Right.
me, I love doing voiceover work. That's where I made, that's how I got my SAG card. That's how I ended up just starting in this business and getting to know people or whatever. It was doing voiceover work. And it was so much fun and I loved it, but it wasn't consistent. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just do bookkeeping part-time. And then I'll do, you know what I mean? I was like, and at that point I was making like $30 an hour doing bookkeeping. And then you have to go out for auditions, you know? And that was before we had these home voice things, like you were making them yourselves, you know, and trying to do it, but you still had to make a decent, clean cut. By the way, that's where I learned editing on Audacity, which is so weird that I'm now using that so much now. But and then your agent would have you want to go to their office to do your demo because you didn't have the right equipment or whatever. It took a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not getting consistent work and when you're union, you can't do non-union stuff and you don't want to because you'll be barred for life. And I was like, no, I got to get other work. And it happened again, you know? And I mean, I was going back out doing some acting auditions, whatever. And I love the creative process, but I also love being around people who are in the, like with you guys, you know what I mean? With all the animators and everybody who was working at Brand New School. But I don't know, it was hard. And I think I was happier in one sense because I didn't feel so much pressure working for a company again. And then I was miserable because it was hard to buy the things you need to exist. Not even, you know, I'm not a big luxury person. I know Tony thinks I am. But yeah, they call me bougie. That is so far from the truth, Tony. Hi, did you ever think I was bougie at Brand New School?
No.
Look at Tony thinking he's going to say hi. Like,
I just wanted to hear his answer. I didn't put the words in.
Yeah, you thought he was going to be like, hey, yeah, she was. No.
That's what I'm going to do when I graduate. I'm going to be this.
What? You're mumbling again. You're mumbling again. Dorkola. but no, I mean, I live very simply. My car, I have the same car I had at Brand New School. Same car. I bought it when all the people at Brand New School, remember everybody had like Humvees and Land Rovers, like all these guys had these huge cars. I went and bought a new car and it was like my little Honda Civic hybrid and I still have it today. That's not bougie, especially in LA, you know?
Exactly.
Tony Smith, you better be laughing with me, not at me.
He is. I got you, Tony. You know how we do, bros.
I know, I'm just messing with you. So
like
you're happier, but are you looking for full-time work?
Both, yeah. I'm freelancing and just looking. So it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it's hard, of course, at the beginning, but you know, once we get all our stuff all straightened out, then I think it's good. gave me more time to just read, and I think I'm reading a book right now on my phone. It's called let me look it up here. I've been reading a lot more, so
I have to get back to reading. I have to win the lottery. I don't want to win the
Don't we
lottery.
all?
I want some long lost relative that I never knew come tell me that somebody died and left me money in the family. They've always been looking for me. I want that dream. I want that I'm just saying that's a better chance of getting that than the lottery. That's the irony. You know what I mean? There's a better chance of that happening. I don't even need a lot, just enough for like 3 years, so I can relax a little bit, travel a little bit. Look at Tony. La cara,
Not here.
that
I'm
face.
stopping for life. I'm vacationing for years.
If you win the lottery,
Yes, years.
okay then.
I'm going to buy
What
a
book are you
house for it, and I'm
reading?
going where I want to.
The Law of Success in 16 Lessons by
Oh, I don't know that at all.
Napoleon Hill.
Oh,
No.
Napoleon Hill. I know him. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know him. Is
Never
it good so
know.
far?
It's really good. Yeah, I'm halfway through with it. It just talks about it was during a time, like a little bit after the Great Depression, I think. A little
Okay.
bit. Yeah. So it really talks about different lessons about success and like how, and mostly being a salesperson, pretty much.
Yeah.
Try to get your network. Your network worth is your network. So getting out
That's
there,
true.
Yeah.
talking to people. So it's a great book. I started like 50% through it. So
Okay, I'm going to tell you one thing not to do as a salesperson. I'm just going to say this
Okay.
because I think we've all experienced this. Do not ask me to be your network on LinkedIn, right? Someone you don't know. You know me, so it's different.
right.
And I say yes, and then your next email is, hey, I was wondering, how are you doing with your lawn services? We have bobcats. Remember I told you that last week? I was like, I was looking everywhere on my profile to figure out where, but they didn't even do that. They're just asking to be, and then, like people who do that, they then send you a sales pitch on an email, and they didn't even take a moment to read.
Yeah.
Isn't a bobcat it is, right? It's a farm thing or something.
It's a construction, sometimes farming, yes, equipment.
I was like,
machinery
block. I
equipment.
couldn't even respond because I was like, block. I don't even, that was just dumb askery. Like, why would you do that? Yeah. But I did. I kept going through my profile to be like, where would they think I need a bobcat? Unless I'm confused by what it is. You know what I mean?
One thing that annoys me is, please get to the point. So somebody called me and they're like, "Oh, we can. How much did you pay in your electric bill last month?" I was like, "Oh Lord, what is this about?" And then he never would say what the point. And I'm saying, I think I know where this is going. It was solar. He wanted to sell me on solar. Never said it. And then he goes, "You know what? I'm gonna give you to my other person, and she's the best, and blah blah blah, and she's gonna talk to you, yada yada yada." And then finally, she said the word solar. I was like, "Okay, let me stop you. Stop wasting your time. They said we got too many trees around our house, and it's not gonna work." And then she's like, "Oh, let me look." And then she's looking at pictures. She's like, "Oh yeah, you're right.
Wait,
Okay,
she has your address?
yeah, I guess she did. I didn't even tell her my
I
address."
think it's adorable that you even do not call me unless I know you, because I'm not
Right.
even answering the phone. I'm just gonna click.
But as soon as she was like, "Oh, this ain't going nowhere. Okay, have a nice day." Click. I'm like, what happened to all that friendliness? And
I guess you're a waste of time. Now she's not gonna make a sale. Now, Tony, how do you deal with the massive amounts of people who try to reach out to you and sell you something?
Oh, I ignore them.
What?
I ignore them. I been
Yeah, I
getting
do the
messages
same.
for years. I'll see it, and it's a matter of whether or not you respond. People are reaching out to expand what they have or looking for new clientele. It's up to you as to whether or not you respond. Because I get
Yeah, but phone calling people, isn't that called cold calling,
Yeah, I
cold
think so.
emailing?
the phone calls I get more from the insurance companies, organizations like Fraternal Order Police, the fire.
But you guys actually pick up the phone when you don't know who it is, and you
I
look.
used
I
to,
don't.
yeah,
You
because
guys,
Usually I don't.
it doesn't bother me, especially when I got all my bills paid. When I don't have my bills paid, I don't answer. And yeah,
because it might be collection.
if all my bills are paid, I'll be like, hello. And I'm like, who is this? And honestly, the biggest thing that helps me is I don't always have a signal, so my phone may cut off.
Right.
That's just the best thing too. But I'll check it out. And sometimes people change their numbers and they just try to let me know and they don't leave a message. Also, I will say this for myself. If I know people who are overseas, sometimes I don't recognize a number. I will answer in case they're calling me.
That's what
And I
WhatsApp
have
is
to-
for, and Signal.
Well, this is before WhatsApp, but okay.
I'm just saying. I think it's just different. But I do remember back in the day. I'm sure most people listening may have had this experience. But when you have the collection people on your ass, oh
You don't.
man.
And they don't want to hear nothing but when you're going to pay. They want to know who you know, when you're going back to work. Do you have any family? Do you have any friends? Or what are we going to do? And I'm just at the 10 minutes. I told you the truth. I don't know what else to tell you. I'll get it to you.
Yeah, I got it. Oh no. But the worst thing you can do is talk to collection people. You do not. I hope everyone knows that. Do not talk to them because the clock starts every time you talk to them. It's better to talk to the people before it gets to collection and tell them what your situation is. So I will just say this as someone who's experienced it, but has also helped many people fix their credit. The last thing you want to do is let things go to collection, but it happens because it's life and it's hard, and we're all living paycheck to paycheck, most of us. And we all, there's no one here who's a Warren Buffett. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he keeps disappearing, not on purpose.
You made him mad.
Yeah, he's like, did you say Warren Buffett? I'm out.
Did you see her face, Hi? Did you see her face?
Jimmy, have you been there the whole time?
The whole time? Define whole time. No, I've only been here since about.
Wait, why can't
9
we?
minutes.
Hold on 1 second. You've been here 9 minutes. I didn't even see you on here. I'm so
And
sorry.
I only know 9 minutes because I looked at the clock when I logged in. I was like, oh,
Jimmy, why didn't you text me? Okay, wait a minute. So first
Well,
of all,
it says.
What
So I'm over in the left and says you're in the waiting room. The host can see you.
no, the host could not see you because she's not that fucking coordinated. Okay? I am so sorry. There's too many windows here. So I see you now. How you doing, Jimmy?
Doing good. Yeah, you saved me from working on my car, which is a good thing.
Okay, so wait, Jimmy, I'm going to introduce you to everybody, but you don't know Hi? You guys don't know each other?
No, because when you come in, with brand new school, I was only ever a DP. So, and we never went maybe twice I went in the office in Santa Monica.
Wait. So you're director of photography, for those who don't know the lingo, right? So you were always on the shoots, and what was Jonathan's brother's name? I forgot.
Pat.
So Pat was doing the same thing you did?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. Right. So Hi, you would know Pat because he was Jonathan's brother and he would be in the place. So, okay, so I understand what was happening. So when we had other jobs or whatever, you would take it over and you'd be on set.
Yeah, I would always compete with Pat, and it's tough when you're competing with nepotism.
Right. When you're competing with the boss's brother, it's kind of hard, right?
When I met Pat, I was pleasantly surprised. He's a total sweetheart.
Oh, he absolutely is. And so wasn't Jonathan. Although I'll never talk to him again, but that's a story.
It's another story.
Okay, so what?
Another story for another day.
Oh, I've told that story way too many times, and don't get me drinking on it because it's even worse. But okay, so Hi and Jimmy kind of sort of know each other, and then below us is Rick Costa, who watched all of your movies and read everything about you and is pissed at you because they cancel your interview, and so you owe him an interview.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Which I'm looking forward to because
Yes.
I respect Rick's willingness to look at any of my work. And it's always a good
And then I wouldn't introduce you to the guy above you, Tony, but he's just a pain in the ass, so don't. Tony, I'm just messing. Tony, I got much love for you. I'm just kidding. This is my good friend Jimmy.
Jimmy, how you doing, man? Good to meet you.
How are you?
I'm good.
So were you former military or police or both?
Retired Air National Guard aircraft mechanic, currently a civil service aircraft mechanic. I did work 6 years as a security forces augmentee on that time, so I did work a little bit of police work.
Dang. Well, thanks for all that you do.
Pena.
Thank you. What's up, Pena?
Pena's in the house. Wow. Okay. I'm totally thrown by that. Wait, Tony, how long were you doing police work? I didn't know that.
I worked as a base cop for 6 years. It was part of a program after 9/11 where the National Guard and Reserve could help secure the bases. I volunteered for that. I worked 7 months at Andrews, 10 months at Bowling, 2.5 years at Tyndall, 2 years here at Robbins, and I worked about 6 months cumulative in my home station as a base guy.
Yeah, Tony's
I
got a
didn't know
memory.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't remember what I did last week.
I'm getting old. I had to remember that because when I was filling out resumes, I had to remember all the dates and the times. Mind you, during that time, I was also working as a mechanic once a month on F-16. So I was pulling 2 jobs at the same time. And most of my life, I've been pretty much pulling 2 jobs. The
Yeah.
whole time. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah, I've done it. I've done 3 jobs. That drove me nuts. I almost killed myself doing
Like
that.
3 full-time jobs, like 8-hour days?
No, 1 full-time, 2 other part-time. When I first became a father, I told his mom, don't work for 3 months because the doctors always say when a woman has a child, she needs 6 months to recuperate and 3 months to bond with the baby. So I told her don't work for 3 months, and I picked up a 3rd job, and I was working 7 days a week, exhausted myself. That's stress.
Yeah, don't do that. But you lived through it.
I did. Almost did not, because I almost got in an accident one night.
Oh.
And I told the guy in the 3rd job, I got to stop. I was literally driving back and was going by a sign. And I don't care what anybody says. I literally saw the sign turn and just look at me. I said, nope.
Oh my God.
And I was on a curve. I was looking the sign. You know how the sign just comes to you? That sign was and just looked at me. I said, no, time. I'm done.
Yeah, I remember leaving a job once. We were over in Playa del Rey, and I'm driving on the freeway. Thought I was on the 405, and all of a sudden I see the sign, Santa Monica, pier. I was like, oh man, I'm on the 10. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow, you were going like the opposite way. Wow. Yeah, you were in my neighborhood.
And this was probably 20 something years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I hopped on PCH and headed home, but it was a wake up call for sure.
Yes, when you push yourself, you got to realize you're almost going to I don't want to say vertigo, but you like zone out.
Oh yeah.
And I've actually driven on more than one occasion. I do a lot of road trips. One time I was driving, I remember being on the highway, and then all of a sudden I was on a turn lane. My turn signal was on. I don't even know what made me do that. So I had to stop some of those long road trips over 12 hours.
Well, good. Glad you're getting older and wiser. Same.
Getting older and surviving. Thank you.
I'm tired of working, but
I am too.
I know. I'm just saying.
I realized, I was talking to somebody last week about it. I've literally been working 30 years of my life.
That's it?
What you mean that's it? What's wrong with you?
I've been working since I was 12. I worked at Little Peach.
Well, you was lucky to have a job and continue keeping a job. It was hard to find a job for a lot of folks. So when I did get a job,
but I was 12. You said, but you've been working only 30 years?
Yeah, because it was hard to get a job. When I got one, I said I was going to stick with it. And I've been lucky to be able to improve upon jobs with increased pay. That's the kicker.
You're talking about real jobs. I had a little job. I was being funny. Like I've been working since I was 12, but wasn't like
I started when I was 14. I worked at a gas station. I mean, as much as you could full time as a high school student.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what
and I've had part-time jobs with gaps, but consistently the past 30 years, I've maintained some type of employment.
Oh, I haven't had a full-time job since 1990.
Good Lord.
Since 1992, I haven't had a full-time job.
Because he's a freelancer.
Yeah.
And we're back to freelancing.
Right. I hope it came out of nose. I hope it came out your nose.
Well, because a lot of people in this town are freelancers. Like I don't know why that is, but the studio system kind of sets it up that way as well, right? You work on a movie. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Mm-hmm. So unless you're working for the production companies like I do, I have consistent work because I don't just manage projects. I manage the people that run the production companies that are always existing, trying to get more work. So that's the difference.
Yeah. And for commercials, as you know, a lot of them are one-day shoots, but I talked to you about, I'm hiring a career coach, and she went through my numbers and what I hope to make in the next year. And she's like, yeah, you need to work basically 10 days.
Yeah. I mean, okay, wait. So explain that, because not everybody's listening who's is in the industry. So you don't have work consistently, but when you do work, you make bank. I
can, yes, only because I've climbed the ladder.
Right.
I work as a director and a cinematographer and sometimes a camera operator. Camera operator pays exponentially less. Director, generally it's 10 to 12% of a budget. So a commercial
Okay, but
budget.
go on with that. A budget of a movie. Well, first of all,
Let's go with commercials.
okay, all right. Do commercials. So a commercial for a national brand, which is what you would probably shoot for, right? Would be how much for a budget? Like, what would be a budget you could? Well, no, because I think this is actually the fascinating part that people don't understand.
They
And if you
don't.
do
I agree.
understand it, you would know why people were on strike and why people get upset here in Hollywood about a lot of things. Because it sounds glamorous, like, oh my God, you made $22,000 in, a week of work on an episode. And then you don't work again for another,
Yeah.
6 months. As
Right.
in, I'm talking about acting wise, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, so this could open up a can of worms because one of the reasons I got incorporated, I did incorporate, was on a brand new school job. And it was in New York, and I think it was about 2009. And I hadn't worked for probably 2-3 months.
mhm.
And I get this gig, and it was for Budweiser, and it was the introduction of Bud Wheat, and it was Jonathan's directing. And
Right.
I think my paycheck was somewhere around $35,000 for that
Right.
week.
And you
alone.
worked how many days?
Prep days, you don't get paid. So let's say 5 days.
Yeah.
There was a lot of overtime and because we know how that goes, right?
Right. But it sounds good to people who are just listening and don't know the industry. And then what happened afterwards?
So then what happens is you fall into the 45% tax bracket.
Mm-hmm.
So your $35,000 is now
Right now,
16,000 or maybe shy of 20.
17.5, 18,000, right?
Thank you for doing the math, Tony.
Thank you.
Now, at that time, I had an agent/manager who took 15% of the gross, not the net.
But that's normal. That's normal.
Talk them numbers. Talk them numbers.
So go ahead, Tony, give me the numbers.
You said 15% after the 45% tax bracket, which means 60% of your check is already going. Keep going.
So what I wound up with walking away with was about $12,000 or $14,000 after not working for 3 months,
Mhm.
which 3 to 4 months, whatever. And then we know that comes down to $3,000 to $4,000 a month. But meanwhile, what happens is, you guys were talking about collections earlier. You push bills off, you don't pay certain things. All of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. I don't have any money. Now I have to work right away again. And sometimes that $35,000 paycheck might only be one every other month or 2 months. So you're constantly chasing your own tail. So after that, I got incorporated, which meant I got to keep the entire nut and deal with it, as push it as far back as October of the following year.
Right.
So if this job was in September of, let's say it was September of 23, I wouldn't even have to deal with the taxes until October of 24.
Mhm.
And
But you still have to pay what you have to pay. You don't have to pay an agent anymore, and you don't have to, but you lose something with that, right? Because now you don't have an agent working for you to try to get you work.
well, I've been through a couple agents, and that's another story. But what it comes down to is it keeps you liquid for a while.
Yeah.
And then, the carrot's always dangling. You always think, okay, I'm going to get 3 $35,000 jobs back to back. And all of a sudden I'm going to make $100,000 in 2 months and life is good. And I think that year I did something similar to that. The whole year was super slow. And then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 months, I made the majority of my yearly salary,
Right.
$60,000, $70,000 in a couple months.
Right.
And then you disperse your funds, and then you have an accountant. And a lot of it is, as a freelancer, almost everything you do is a tax deduction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we could deduct breathing, we would.
I deduct everything under the sun. Everything.
And it's valid too. It's
It is.
we live and breathe our job.
Mhm. I
Um,
wish I didn't, though. Not this job. Like, not this job. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and
I
another
mean,
thing I discovered by stupid accident was when I moved outside of California and changed my residency. So everything I do in California is a business expense because that's the only reason I'm there.
right.
And
Yeah,
it's
'cause where are you again? I always forget. I would say Idaho,
Well,
right?
so it's a combination of things. So I raised my kids in North Idaho.
Right.
We moved up here because it's just gorgeous. Oh, Tony left.
No, he just
North Idaho.
No. He's flying. He's flossing his teeth, which I will not allow on air. So that's what he's doing. He has a habit of doing that. So
Yeah.
So raised the kids in North Idaho, which is like one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to, aside from the stupid politics. And trust me, the politics are stupid.
well, let's not talk about politics on our show, but
We don't. Nope.
okay,
And
good.
then
just saying, because some people love those politics and that
So-
side of it.
well, people always give me pause when I say North Idaho, and I have to define what the deal is. We have a lot of hippies here, and I like the hippies.
That's because you are one.
I know it's true. So then, more recently, I reestablished my residency in Washington State with my fiance. The big reason is there's filming incentives in Washington State, and I hope to collaborate with the people that live and work there because they're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm in 3 different states.
Yeah. And you have to pay taxes on all 3, right?
No, you wouldn't. You only pay taxes on your where you live.
Where you live. Okay.
Oh, okay.
How come I have to pay? Oh, because I work in New York. Yeah. And
Yeah, unless you're incorporated.
yeah.
And then they take a percentage, but it's a lot less. Yeah. So that's my sort of plan, my life in a nutshell, as far as a.
So do you prefer freelance, or would you rather have like working for, let's say, some studio on a regular basis or something?
Well, I haven't worked a full-time job, like I said, since 1992.
So the answer is
I don't think I'm employable by most people's standards.
Right.
Because they're like, well, are you going to stick around? Because you've been spoiled. At the same time, I did apply for what I thought was an amazing job with Disney. They needed a director of photography, and it paid really well. It was like up around $200,000 in-house. And I was like, dang. And literally, it was my resume. I got rejected immediately.
Oh.
I mean, I'm talking like I sent it in, and it, like I said, it was my resume, and I've worked for Disney, and I was working for Disney at the time as a freelancer. I think I sent it in on a Monday. I got a rejection on Thursday.
That's disrespectful.
They're probably looking for somebody considerably younger or whatever,
Yeah, but Jesus, I think your experience would count. And that's what a lot of people think in the workforce today, that our experience is going to count.
Not in filmmaking, my friend.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Because you need new ideas, you need new aspects.
Oh, I think it's just ageism. Well, I think it's just ageism. I don't think it's because everybody has new ideas and fresh ideas and blah, 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 but it's usually about something that people are not aware of. They see someone who is older because they have or they make an assumption, because most people don't have their birthdays or anything on their resumes. But when you have that much experience and you're trying to show, here's everything I got, I'm very eager, I really want to do it, they can make an assumption about who you are, right? Based on your experience. And I think that's not a conscious decision. I think we all have it in, like I just went and was trying to figure out who was talking so loud in front of my door. Not in a million years would I thought it was like, 4 or 5 little old ladies. You know what I mean? Like I made an assumption it was some teenagers, when I just got up and went over there. So, but I think ageism is also changing. Like the pendulum is swinging back the other way, because people are starting to realize, companies are starting to realize that there is worth in hiring people who do have a lot of experience and really want the job, because so I'm seeing that as well, because I do a lot of hiring. I do more firing than I do hiring, but so I start to see that, because it's a whole other issue. But I start to see that we're hiring people who are older, 40s, 50s. We even hired someone recently who was in their 60s, and it wasn't because they were 60. We were just like, we want that person who really wants the job for the next 2 years at least, Yeah. Because young people don't stay at a job long. It's a thing.
It is a thing. It's kind of like the new sports teams, right? No player stays with a team more than 2 years. No employee stays around. And, I think, but getting back to it, I think this is the new paradigm that we've been dealing with for a couple of years. When, we got in the business, if you were under 35, never mind 40, you'd get a smackdown if you wanted to be a director, a DP, or something like that. Now it's like, oh, you're 21 and you just graduated? Here's a Nike commercial.
Right. Exactly.
Because you're going to have fresh ideas. No, they have no experience. I mean, they may,
Right.
but a lot of ideas, and I think we all within our own expertise of work, our ideas come from things we've already seen. So it's like, well, I'm not going to do that because that's been done. I'm not going to do that because that's been done, and then we can build an idea based on that. I mean, I think I'm a better writer today than I would have ever been at 28, even never mind 38. Just life experience. I've read more books. I've met more people.
And you're more efficient at it. And that's the thing I always try to tell my clients. The reason why I don't want to hire somebody who just graduated, they don't know how to be your executive assistant. Now, let me be clear. Being an executive assistant is a hard job. The hard part isn't going to go pick up the mail. Anybody can go pick up the mail, but it's having the ability and the patience to deal with the bosses or whoever your supervisor is or whoever you're doing the work for, deal with their personality. You know what I mean? Having patience or asking the right questions or knowing that you don't know what you don't know and saying that instead of trying to wing it. There's so many people who are so young who don't know how to just say, you know what, Carmen, I don't know. Can you explain that to me, how to do it? Instead, they just go and then they're out of the office for 4 hours and they still come back and they didn't. And I know they weren't trying to do nothing because I ain't that damn stupid, you know what I mean? But they still didn't bring anything. They didn't do what they needed to do, so.
Or there's the people that you ask them to do a task, like, hey, can you go do this errand? And they do just that errand, and they come back and they stand there.
Right.
And like, what's next? Like, think on your feet, dude. There's 20 things going on around here. Right. That's a very common trait. Now, luckily, I've raised my kids to be very proactive, and I'm happy to report back that they will multitask probably more than I will.
Yeah.
That's today's generation, being able to multitask.
But effectively, right?
Effectively, yes. And I actually want to put, I do want to jump in on this.
Mm-hmm.
I took multitasking seriously because as a teenager, what I used to want to be able to do was to be a fighter pilot. So I had to learn my eye-hand coordination. That has helped me in life to be focused on something and still be able to do something else. Even people used to drive stick shifts. You had to be able to do more than one thing at one time. If you had a direct focus.
I drive stick shift. I'm just saying, you're like people.
I made my point.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, for real. Multitasking, this generation, I think one of the benefits of some of the devices is how people got to focus and switch up. There's a little bit of a open mind for this youth, even though they do seem easily distracted and they can't sometimes make their own decisions. I see a bit of a combination of the two with this generation. If you can understand that aspect, you may be able to understand what's going on with the youth. Some of them don't think on their own, but they'll do things. If you actually tell them what they got to do early and they just run and go knock it out, you might get more production. Some people may mess up or whatever. I know people need people to do things specifically at this point and then wait for something else, but they'll endanger themselves by thinking as much as they're supposed to because it may not go with the agenda based on how you said it. It's how they interpret it. Take a lot of that with your workforce and see if that helps.
I'm actually going to disagree with you because I always do. That's my whole goal in life with you, Tony.
Yes, it
no matter
is.
what you say, I'm going to find something to argue with you about. You know what I mean, baby? Actually, I'm going to disagree with him too. That'll make you feel better. With Jimmy too.
A little bit.
Not that I disagree. Here's the thing. I don't believe anyone can multitask. It's bullshit. You are doing 2 things or 3 things at the same time, but you're doing them half-assed. So our brains don't work that way. So it's a thing that people say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing 3 or 4 things at the same time, but you're not doing them 100% because we can't focus that way. Okay. So there's a difference between driving my car and listening to music. Those are 2 different parts of the brain. And also we get used to that, right? We get used to doing that because it's repetitive, right? Using the brake, right? We don't think about using the brake when we see the red light. It's because we've conditioned ourselves. But this idea that I can have you, and I have quite a few Gen Z people working in one of my, not my companies, one of my clients' companies, and they'll be on their phone, they'll be looking at their laptop, they're not looking at me, but they say that they're listening to me, right? And then 3 hours later, I'm like, did you bring the folder to Joe because he needed it at 1:00 and he's in the meeting now without it? What? You didn't tell me that. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. So now I have to tell them and I text them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's more diversified thinking. If you want to, if the way I would define it is that, or diversified capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So like I mean, I think Tony sounds like we all probably do 20 different types of things, right? But literally, I will have a day where I'm literally working on my car, and then I'll come. I mean, today I was building a website or updating my website, and then I go outside and I'm installing motor mounts in my car, and then I'm gardening in the meantime.
But you're doing each one of those individually and then going to the next one.
It's
So
diversified talent.
Right. So like when people talk about multitasking, they're like, no. I'm doing the computer thing here. I'm on the phone over here. That does not exist. You cannot do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me see what Melanie just said. How about putting a list of things in groups and doing all of the like things together at the same time? A friend calls it group tasking. Interesting. Yeah.
I understand that.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But possibly this, the upcoming generation, if they were raised right, their parents diversified their thought patterns and gave them more than just one thing to do, hopefully more than just a video game.
Yes.
And you could have a great, in my definition of multitasking, someone who can do multiple tasks throughout the day that are almost completely polar opposites.
Well, I think these kids have grown up. I love Gen Z, but I think every generation has their pluses and minuses, right? There's no way that our parents or our elders weren't frustrated with us too, when we had our little Sony Walkmans on or whatever, right? Or we need a VCR, like whatever it is, right? Thinking that that's going to warp our mind or whatever. But I think these kids have access to information that I wish I had as a kid. I imagine growing up with Google, like just being able to have a computer in your hand. And I was telling my niece, and my God, I feel older and older all the time. But I was like, we had one computer in our high school class because we were all learning to type, right? Like on typewriters. She was like, no way. Like it was some amazing thing. And then when we got the first, like that big IBM clunky, that big ass computer thing, we took turns. We had to take turns to just check it out. And can you imagine growing up and having a phone at, 12 and just being able to, I don't know what it means to blah, 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 and just Google it, not go to the library. Oh my God, I remember microfiche. You remember, I don't know if you guys are older. You remember going to the library and having because the library always had to teach me because I didn't know how to do it, but you had that little film thing and you put it through to.
Yeah. I think the big thing is teaching, the whatever younger generation that's in your orbit, teaching them that they have access to all this amazing information, not just, the TikTok videos. And TikTok has an educational platform. I understand that. But even my son, what he does is he's got an Instagram account. So he'll download the app. He'll drop 20 photos in there and then delete the app.
Why? I don't even understand what
he doesn't want to doom scroll because it's so addictive.
Oh.
Because he knows if he has it on his phone, he will go there.
When he deletes it, it deletes what he puts on there too.
No, he's not deleting. No, he's deleting the app. I don't have it on my phone. I don't have the app on my phone either, just the app. But his Instagram is still up there.
Yeah, because for him, YouTube is the key to success because literally the kid learned how to replace a timing chain on his car when he was 17 from YouTube.
I learned how to fix my own toilet from YouTube. Very proud of myself. But then somebody was like, will you come to my house and teach me? I'm like, you got Google? I ain't like a repair person for toilets now. I was like, no way.
So it's crazy because, I've like all of us, we belong to all the probably different platforms. And I'm on Reddit for everything from screenwriting to cinematography. And there's these, I guess, younger people. I'm not sure who they are. They'll post on there, how do I write a screenplay? Dude, there's YouTube. There's also this thing called a book.
Yeah. On Saturday, we wanted to do weed whacking, and then we were going out there, and the string was at the end, and we're like, oh crap! So we went and bought some, and we're like, okay, we got it now. How do you put it on? YouTube. So we just watched the YouTube and we figured it out. We did it.
Yep.
Can
Yeah.
you
And not
imagine?
all of those videos are accurate to whatever you got going on. People need to be aware of that as well.
There was the one guy we watched at first. He was like, and here's how you do it. And he's showing it, and then all of a sudden he puts his hand in front of the camera. I was like, I can't see what you're doing, you idiot. What
Yes.
are you doing?
Yeah,
Well, you
there is a
clearly
filter
didn't
factor.
watch it afterwards, but hopefully people in the comments told him something.
Yeah, I learned WordPress by YouTube.
Mm.
There was a guy that presented an entire program. I think it was 2 hours long. Literally, how to build a proper WordPress website with Google Analytics from the ground up. And what's cool is you could download it, so I could just reference it every time I worked on my site, and it just got better and better. It was impressive.
That's what I'm saying. So I think kids today are a lot smarter than I was growing up, and just having access to that is one of the things I think is amazing. But again, going back to that experience thing, like until you've had a little bit of life behind you, it's almost a waste right now, right? Because they're just figuring out the other stuff that actually makes us more developed and more intriguing with all the nuance. And, so it's a tough time. I try to be really kind to the Gen Z people that I work with, but it tests me. It really tests my patience.
And they don't have the social skills either that we would have naturally.
I had to tell one person like 3 times, when I talk to you, I need you to look at me. I don't want you on. Well, I'm just trying to do his schedule. I'm talking to you for 5 minutes. It's disrespectful. And they think, of course, I'm like the old lady. Like I know what they say about me, and she's so mean. And I'm like, yes, I am. I can also fire you. So if you want me to use that card, I will. You know what I mean? But they're not being rude. That's just, they're not developed yet to understand proper manners. And
a lot of it's parenting. I mean, how did you raise your kids? I mean, I raised my kids. When you shake someone's hand, when you meet someone, look them in the eye. Someone's talking to you, look them in the eye and listen. You'll be smarter, and it'll take you less time.
I feel like high is like, okay, my kids are 4. Let me write this down.
Yeah, right.
You already got all that, right? Your kids are gonna be fine.
How old are your kids, High?
6 and one's about to be 5. We limit the amount of screen time they get, and then we take them outside a lot more often. We both agree that they will not have social media until they turn 16.
Yes.
And have a phone, what do you call it?
Electronic device.
Yeah, they can have a phone, but like an old school flip phone that you can
phone,
actually, and not have a real phone that you can have the internet 24/7. So we're planning that, but the most that we want them to do is read a book, right? So if they want something like a toy or whatever, I tell them, okay, read a book, and then once you finish reading the book, we'll get you the toy.
I like that one.
Yeah, so screen time is a big thing for us, because of course they're going to learn it at school, right? So they get enough of it at school. When you get home, go outside and play. So that's how we're going to try to raise them.
Put them outside as much as humanly possible.
Yeah. The situation that happened a few years ago stopped a lot of them from getting out the house. So with my son, he had the screen time, but I was interacting with him. We do talk. He'll tell me what he's learning, and I get something out of that, even with what he does on his screen time. And they are on computers in school. The younger kids have their own devices now, which is one of the complications we was running through with my youngest. And we told them no for a minute. And then we actually told them, you got to get your grades up and your behavior right. We got to teach them how to behave, because the screen time will give them certain behaviors. We were all taught that when we were younger. Talk to your kids when they vent to you. Talk to their conscience. I always tell people, children, your child is 50% of your subconscious, pretty much. Well, your subconscious is your child. Half of what's going on with your child came from you. You can't be mad at them for acting like you would. And that's the side of them that you got to talk to when they're acting up. Me and my ex-wife get into it all the time. She'll call me, he did this. I know where he got it from. How you figure? Because I used to do that. or do something. I'm like, you used to do that. and it silences her. Well, he came, I said, talk to the part of yourself that you would tell not to act like that, and watch it change. And it does. Now, does he grow into his old mind? Yes, because when you do that, that third set of who they are outside of you kicks in, and that's when we really got the damn problems. But definitely check the side of you that is in that child.
Yep.
It will help you.
Yeah, and I think what happens with a lot of people is they're mad at themselves for having that trait, and then when they see it in their kid, they're mad at themselves, but somehow it manifests into them being mad at the kid instead of going, "Oh man, that's me."
You got to tell my son. He's like, I'm mad. I don't know why. What are you mad about? This. I said, you're mad because this. He's like, how do you know? I said, because you got it from me. And he'll be like, oh, that's how you hit them. And they'll control themselves afterwards. We teach kids to be obedient or get a beating. Teach them how to think. Computers will show them how to do things, but teach them how to think. Be aware of what you're taking in, what to ignore, and what to keep.
See, they need to have late night parents back. So, but even when you had late night parents on, it's another show that they used to have after this. But you guys never talked. This is great stuff. Hearing men talk about their children and parents. I don't even need to be here. I'm just going to go away and let you guys talk.
Oh no, raising kids is the greatest experiment you'll ever have.
What? Say that again?
I said raising kids is the greatest experiment you'll ever do.
Yes.
And I told my kids that all the time. I'm like, you're an experiment. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Wow, that's pretty good though.
I mean, I never did this before. Granted, my kids are now 25 and 23. So I'm mostly through the woods. My daughter's a nurse. My son is in his last year of college, and he just took a job as a fireman. So
we love firemen, yay, and nurses. We love
forest fires too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really?
So we did something right. And even though me and his mom are divorced many years and we don't, chat much, I still got to give her credit for part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. My oldest is 23. He's a college graduate, and my baby boy's 10.
Wow, you got some gaps there.
Yeah. Several relationships, 2 different states, 2 different times, all of that good stuff.
It's all good.
Yeah. But it's all right. Being a parent made me, I tell people, being a parent made me more of a man. I had to realize the responsibilities outside of myself. With my oldest, I think one of my regrets was I couldn't do more, even though we had valuable time and we always enjoyed being around each other. But there's so much more that I wanted to do that I couldn't. And with my youngest, I am able to do a lot more of what I couldn't. But being a parent, it's absolutely fulfilling. I've told people, I said, people that don't have kids, don't worry about it. But those of us who do have children, we actually had to learn more patience and realize what we can't control more than people who don't.
Yeah, a couple things I learned was, if you have a daughter, you want to be the kind of man you want your daughter to marry.
Yes, you do. And I'm glad I didn't have one, because God have mercy. I had a stepdaughter, and my ex-wife, that was her daughter. And she was so nervous about things with her. And I would always talk to her. Me and her actually cool. She's actually getting married in a couple of weeks. I got to go down there for that. But her and I had kicked it off so well and so good. And I was always talking. She would ask me stuff. She's like, I need stuff from a man's perspective. Come on. Because her mother couldn't tell her. I could. And she would take it like, and I always told her, take this stuff. Because these jokers you about to meet right now, I know what kind of bums they're going to be. You got any question, ever call me. She had called me a couple of times in college for advice. I'm like, no, no. Yeah, no. That's real. I would do all that. And that's what you got to do with the children. You got to conversate with them instead of talking down to them. They're individuals like we were. We didn't like being talked down to when we were kids, when we were growing up, because we felt like we was getting something every year, that we was progressing in school, every test that we took, every quiz that we took, everything that we learned. And even when we could teach you what you don't remember. If you acknowledge that about the youth these days, they'll actually grow more within themselves, because they don't necessarily have so much coming down to where they can progress within themselves. I always emphasize that with a lot of kids. Kids love being around. I talk to them. Well, I don't understand this. Yes, you do. Because you just don't remember this. Well, what about this? And I had those. They love it. They love it. I've always enjoyed talking to older folks who would talk to me instead of talking down. It helped me walk around with a little bit more self-assurance. And a lot of these kids do not have self-assurance. They feel beat down. They feel like they're going to face something, and they're not afraid of punishment, which makes this generation very dangerous. They are not afraid of punishment. If you remember that, you're going to see it. But
punishment doesn't work. I mean, if you've raised kids, you kind of know that. So with my kids, if there was an argument, I would hear them arguing in the other room or fighting, or you hear somebody cry, I'd go in there and say, okay, first one that's honest and tells me who did what gets a hug.
Gets a hug. That's awesome.
And I swear they'd be like, oh, it was me, Dad.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, just simple things. I don't know where I learned this stuff from. It just, I guess I just was open to being a better parent. And when you
be yourself as a parent, that's what it was.
Yeah, what I wanted probably as a child, yeah. But
There you
one of the things that I also learned that was huge when I, because freelance, you hit highs and lows, and sometimes you go through periods where it's like, damn, I've got enough for rent and not much more. So when you
Right.
can't spoil your kids, you can always spoil them with attention and love,
Absolutely.
because that's all they want.
True.
That is all they need. That's all they want. And it's amazing the response. So we had, when my son turned 18, because he's the youngest, it was Christmas one year and I was basically dead broke. I mean, I was like, okay, you guys are getting a card. And I gave them a card, one card for the two of them. And in the card it said, I will never argue with your mom ever again. That's my gift to you. And it was like you could hear the record scratch. What? And I said, yeah, you're both adults. The arguing's over. I no longer have to defend you.
Did it work though? I mean, did you actually live up to that and not argue?
100%.
I'm curious what Hai thinks about all of this conversation happening.
I'm waiting for Hai's wife to say, why are you hugging her? She just admitted she did it wrong. Because that's what he said to do.
I'm telling you, it works though, because she'll admit it. And then what you do is we would, so they get the hug and then we would discuss what the punishment was. And a lot of times it was taking away a toy, because you don't want to punish them. Oh, go read, because you don't want reading to be a punishment. Go grab a toy, and then we donate the toy to some charity. And usually it was the toy they never played with. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. But Hai, I'm just curious about your thoughts, because you're in the beginning stages of.
Yeah, I have two girls, so for
God.
sure. My wife tells me all the time the way I treat her is how they gonna look for a guy, a man. So she says that to remind me every time. Of course, I treat her well, sweet, and but when they do get in an argument, yeah, we don't. I haven't tried the hug technique before, but we try to be civilized and say, okay, if you want something, all right, we'll put a timer on. You get it for 5 minutes, and then once that 5 minutes up, you get it. The youngest one usually be like, okay, I don't want to play with it. She'll give it to the older sister and share it that way, and she's like, I don't need it. And sometimes she'll hold it on for 5 minutes, and after a minute, she forgets. They don't know time yet. So after a minute, they're like, okay, here, you can have it. So it's working out right now because they're around 5 or 6. But when they get older as a teenager, then I might have to change it up a little bit. But like Jimmy says, you just got to go with the flow, and learn. They're an experiment. You got to go with it and try to figure it out.
It's a giant lab experiment.
Yeah, there's no user manual with children.
Exactly.
No, because it's your DNA and it's your personality that's in there too.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to say that I'm glad that I wrote out a whole thing that we were going to talk about. It happens every time on the show. I love it.
Yeah, I may have to bounce in a minute or two because we're going to have dinner soon.
Well, no. Usually I cut this off at an hour, so we're almost done. Yeah, we're a little long today, but it was so nice to hear you all talk about. I think we should have a show where it's just guys. I mean, I won't come on. I'll let you use the platform, but it would be nice. What, Tony? Why, Tony? You always get so weird whenever I say anything. What is that about?
You gonna let the guys just do the show without you?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust you to fucking.
I know.
Any one of these guys and any other guy who's been on the platform, I would trust.
None of us want the responsibility. That's the thing.
What? Tony wants the responsibility?
No, we don't want the responsibility of programming the show and showing up and moderating.
Oh, Rick would do it.
Yeah, Rick would do it. Absolutely.
I would trust. Rick is my co-host. He would do it, and I would trust him.
Yeah, Rick's supposed to do it. I would.
Yeah, and Ted Hicks, I would trust as well.
Wow.
He wanted to do it too early on, and he was like, "Let me just use your show and your platform." I was like, "I ain't branded yet."
He was nervous.
I was like, we're not doing that, baby. Not yet. It's mine. This is my show. But yeah, I would love that. Look, I have said this a million times before. It is so sexy to listen to men talk for real about things that matter, right? And I say that because as a woman, we only hear kind of the bad stuff like locker room talk or whatever supposedly guys only talk about, women. But hearing you all talk about kids and raising them, and I just thought that was kind of sexy and cool and fascinating,
Oh, thank you.
I wasn't really talking to you, Tony, because I've heard you talk before.
Yeah, it's not you, Tony.
Yeah, right. No, but no, thank you. First of all, hi, thank you for coming back. It's been a long time, but I hope you'll come back again.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, good luck on your job search. I understand you are looking for a gig. So.
Oh yeah.
And what do you
thank you.
What do you do again? Hi, sorry.
3D animation, compositing, VFX stuff.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
look me up on LinkedIn, and if I hear of something, I can.
It's so weird to know these two guys work
Appreciate it.
together and they don't know each other. It's so weird.
Do you know Jess? Jess, I can't remember her last name. She used to work at the mill.
No, but I do know people from the mill and all the different places.
Yeah, Jess started like an outreach for job opportunities within the visual effects community.
Okay, awesome.
I'll hook you guys up on LinkedIn. I'll send you whatever. If you guys, I'll just do that later. Okay, so I will. I'll do it when I jump off here, so you guys can connect there and figure out how to help each other.
It's just Ambrose. That's it. AMBROSE.
Ambrose.
Or we can keep talking about it and not let me
We can
stop
go.
the show.
Now we can go.
Look at. Thank you for coming on the show, Jimmy. We're gonna do a private lounge with you so we can get your background and post that and whatever. And we're gonna do it in July. There's not gonna be an excuse. You're going to do it in July. We're a year and a half in with you and your excuses, but I'm grateful that you came up today. I am.
Well, luckily, I'm not on a board of directors anymore, so I have a little more free
good.
time.
All right. Well,
And
we will do that.
If you book me, I will book a job. So let's do it.
Because that is kind of what seems to keep happening. Every time I book you, you got something else to do last minute. So whatever works, I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Right.
Rick, I adore you always. Thank you so much. And everyone knows I never say goodbye to Tony D. But thank you for being here. And remember, it is always all about the joy. Bye, everyone.
Smash the
Guys,
like.
don't jump off yet. What did you say? To like, share, and what?